Good. Jai Om Vishnu Sri Sri Madhi's Divine Grace Abhay Ravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki Anand Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधारा श्री वसुधि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की वृंदावन धाम की मथुरा धाम की नवदीप धाम की श्री जगन्नाथ स्वामी की यमुना माई की श्रीमती तुलसी देवी की सामवेद भक्त वृंद की निताई गौर प्रेमानंदी. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Gurudev ki jai. So, Hare Krishna and good morning everyone. Welcome to this morning Srimad Bhagavatam class in ISKCON Sydney Temple. And welcome to all our viewers online also on Mayapur TV, Facebook, ISKCON Sydney, YouTube. Thank you for tuning in. So this morning we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 20, and it's titled Conversation Between Maitreya and Vidura. And we will be reading from text number 16. Now, just a little bit of a background. Who is Vidura? Vidur is the brother of Dhritarashtra, right? And Vidur is the son of Srila Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva is the one who compiled the Srimad Bhagavatam that we are reading. But Vidur's background is that he used to be Yamaraj in his previous life. And due to a curse, he was made to be born in the material world. Actually, it was an arrangement by Lord Krishna. And according to the wishes of Yamaraj, Yamaraj, you know, is the Lord of death. He gives you death and he gives you punishment for all the bad karmas you do. But the thing about Yamaraj is that he is a devotee of Lord Krishna. And any devotee, he's actually one of the Mahajans, with the 12 Mahajans, they aspire to serve Krishna in many different ways. And one of the prime ways in a Mahajan or a pure devotee of Lord Krishna wants to serve is to glorify Krishna and glorify the names. That's one of the prime main services. So it was Yamaraj's wish that he be given this privilege of imparting knowledge, glorifying the Lord. So there was a pastime involved where there was a rishi, and as a child he had accidentally with a blade of grass he had killed an insect or something like that. I'm just trying to remember the top of my head. In any case, he was 8 years old as a child. So Yamaraj decided that that was a bad karma, so he was going to punish. So he punished this rishi when he died, at the ripe old age, where we die naturally. After that, we get punished for our karmas. So, but the law is that, any child below the 8 years of age, they don't get punished for their crimes. They're still children. They don't know what they're doing. So kind of Yamaraj was at a fault here. So, and in any case, the rishi actually cursed him, go down to the material world. So Yamaraj was kind of happy because now he got his wish, so he can come down. And so he came down during the days of Mahabharata when Krishna was here. And obviously his position was as a minister for Dhritarashtra, and he was, in many ways he tried to impart knowledge and, tried to teach and glorify Lord Krishna in many different ways. So here there is a conversation between Maitreya and Vidura, sage Maitreya. And the conversations are, this is actually, the story is actually goes a little bit back. There's Shaunaka Rishi and many other rishis they're discussing. So what did Maitreya say to Vidura? How did Vidura impart this knowledge? Now the questions were, when Lord Krishna, he came in the form of Varaha. Oh, I'm actually like jumping ahead and going on with the class without even reading this, but just the backgrounds. So anyway, in the form of boar, he rescued the planet Earth. And planet Earth was actually moved out of its orbit and sunk in the coastal ocean. So he, as a boar, he lifted out the planet Earth and popped it back in its usual, planet Earth in its usual place. And then the question was that after the planet Earth was placed back in its orbit, how did the procreation or creations proceed after that? So that's the question, and that's what this chapter is all about. So we're going to be reading about how the creation happened and how we came about and how the living entities came about. So that's what this is all about. So let's start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devam Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nasta Prayashu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Okay. Tasya nabhir abhut padmam sahasraka korudihiti sarva jivani kayorko yatra swayam abhut swarat tasya nabher abhut padmam sahasrar koru didhiti sarva jivani kayoko yatra swayam abhut swarat tasya nabher abhut padmam sahasrar koru didhiti sarva jivani kaya yoko yatra swayam adbhut swarat tasya nabher abhut padmam sahasra koru didhiti sarva jivani kayoko yatra swayam abhut swarat tasya nabher abhut padmam sahasra koru didhiti sarva jivani kayoko yatra swayam abhut swarat tasya nabher abhut padmam sahasra koru didhiti sarva jivani kayoko yatra swayam abhut swarat. Ladies, Padmam Sahasrarkorudiditi Sarva Jivan Yatasvayam Abhusvara Tasya Navirabhupadmam Sahasrarkorudiditi Sarva Jivani Kayoko Yatra Swayam Abhutsvara. Okay, so we have the translation. Tasya, of the Lord. Nabhe, from the navel. Abhut, sprouted up. Padmam, a lotus. Sahasra Arka, 1,000 suns. Uru, more. Didhiti, with dazzling splendor. Sarva, all. Jiva Nikaya, resting place of conditioned souls. Oka, place. Yatra, where. Swayam, himself. Abhut, emanated. Swarat, the omnipotent. Lord Brahma. So the translation and the purport by His Divine Grace, I see Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So the translation of this particular verse means, from the navel of the personality of Godhead, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, sprouted a lotus flower, effulgent like 1,000 blazing suns. The lotus flower is the reservoir of all conditioned souls, and the first living entity who came out of that lotus flower was the omnipotent Brahma. So we can all repeat. From the navel of the personality of Godhead, Garbhodakshai Vishnu sprouted a lotus flower, effulgent like 1,000 blazing suns. This lotus flower is the reservoir of all conditioned souls, and the first living entity who came out of the lotus flower was the omnipotent Brahma. Okay, so the purport. It appears from this verse that the conditioned souls who rested within the body of the personality of Godhead after the dissolution of the last creation came out in the sum total form of the lotus. This is called Hiranyagarbha. The first living entity to come out was Lord Brahma, who is independently able to create the rest of the manifested universe. The lotus is described here as effulgent as the glare of 1,000 suns. This indicates that the living entities, as parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, are also the same quality, since the Lord also diffuses his bodily glare known as Brahma Jyoti. So the description of the Vaikuntha Loka, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita and other Vedic literatures, is confirmed herewith. In Vaikuntha, the spiritual sky, there is no need for sunshine, moonshine, electricity or fire. Every planet there is self-effulgent like the sun. So a little bit of Mangal Charan. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sva Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishbhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpa Trubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimati Bir Krishna Goswami Niti Namne Namo Hamsa Nikashaya Prabhupada Priyate Suvidda Shuddhi Nishta Bentasya Vakya Navadini. Okay, so this is the part where it's being explained who came first. So we always, ask who came first, the chicken or the egg. So it is something like that in Vedic scriptures. Who was the first living entity that was born? Because we know that God is always there. God is not unborn. So who came first? So the creation, Lord Krishna, we know, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. After that, he expands himself. He doesn't do the work of creation himself. He lets somebody else do it. Because he's too busy, enjoying his life. If you are Krishna, if you are God, if I said, well, if you're God, what will you do? Are you going to go to work 9 to 5? No. You're not going to go to work. You're going to get somebody else to go to work for you. So this is what Krishna does. He expands himself. So there's several stages, and he expands himself in many plenary expansions, and they all have their own roles and functions. So according to the Bhagavad Gita, so I'll just sort of skip the places where he goes into Balram, and then Balram goes to Mahashankarshan and Sankarshan, all that. That one is explained very nicely in the Chaitanya Charimrita in chapter 5. So if you read that, that will give you a very in-depth knowledge of how these planets are created and who is, Krishna expanding into first, which is Lord Balaram. What's Lord Balaram's function? Lord Balaram is actually there. He's the immediate expansion of Lord Krishna. And he assists Lord Krishna in the Krishna Loka, which is, Goloka. Is sometimes known as Goloka Vrindavan. He assists Krishna there in his pastimes. And this Goloka is sometimes known as also Shwetadeep, although Shwetadeep is also, there's another Shwetadeep which is ours. But and then Balram expands himself into Sankarshan, and then Mahasankarshan. And then Mahasankarshan, then there is an expansion of Karana Dakshai Vishnu, and then Garbha Dakshai Vishnu, and then Shiro Dakshai Vishnu. So here we are looking at Garbha Dakshai Vishnu. So I'm just going to say that Lord Krishna, from Lord Krishna there is like Karna Dakshai Vishnu, who is the main Mahavishnu. What he does is he has these living entities within him. These living entities are us, like Jiva souls. And we kind of absorbed or merged into Karna Daksha Vishnu at the time of dissolution. Dissolution is when all this entire creation is annihilated, finished. So we might be, in the process of maybe, taking a pastime of a marriage or children or working or maybe doing some bad stuff. Maybe we are, aspiring to be, pigs or horses or whatever, whichever stage of life we are in. We are destroyed at that time. So we go, our bodies are destroyed, let's put it that way. Our soul is never destroyed. So we merge back into Lord Vishnu. And then at the time of creation, then we are produced again, like we are manifested again. So what happens is Karnodakshai Vishnu, he glances at Maya. Maya has all these, Maya Devi, she has all these elements. You know, the 5 elements we know, right? What are the 5 elements? The fire, the water, the earth, the ether, the sky. And then we have the mind, intelligence, ego. And then we have other elements. Altogether it's about 24, but in the Srimad Bhagavatam I think it's 23, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita it's 24, something like that. But in any case, these elements, they are there. And Maya, she uses these elements to produce us, the living entities, but the living entities have to come from somewhere. Where do they come from? They come from Lord Krishna, because we are in there. At the time of dissolution, we go there. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna actually says, I'm the seed-giving father. So he is the one who has got the seeds, us. And so the time, comes for creation, he looks at Maya. And he, just with his glance, that glance is known as, does anybody know what that glance is known as? Who consorts with Maya? Who is Maya Devi's husband? Shiva, yes. So that glance is not Shiva actually, Shiva he is, but that glance is known as Shambhu. That just glance, Shambhu goes. And that Shambhu, that just the glance, impregnates Maya with all the living entities. And that's how we come. And what happens is, there are universes created by the breathing of Karna Dakshai Vishnu. So all these universes are created, and what he does is enters into each universe as Garbho Dakshai Vishnu. So there, then he lies in the ocean. There's the ocean, and in there his navel sprouts a lotus, and in that lotus, actually this is a very technical topic, so there's a lot of technical, but we'll try to fit in some nice stories somewhere along the line to make it interesting, hopefully, so you can stay awake. So because we are awake since Mangalarti, right? So the lotus flower stems up, and Lord Brahma comes in there. He is born. So Lord Brahma is born, he doesn't know who he is yet. So he's wondering, so he travels down in the Srimad Bhagavatam, I think Canto 3, Chapter 8, somewhere like that. It's very nicely described what Lord Brahma does. And in the following verses here, it is also described how Lord Brahma does the creation. So Lord Brahma is the one who does the creating job for Krishna. So when he sprouts up he's the first person, Jiva soul, to come in existence in our universe. And by the way, Lord Brahma, his life is also 100 years, right? And it is only as fleeting as the breathing of Mahavishnu. Like Mahavishnu, he breathes out, the universe come out, and that's when Brahma is born. He breathes in, the universes get back in. Right? So Brahma's life is only as long as one breath, if you look at it, really. So how insignificant we are, and we think we are really important. We deserve a title. We deserve to be recognized. But when you really look at it, we really are not even like a speck of dust. We are less than that. So anyway, putting that into perspective, Lord Brahma comes out of there, and then he meditates on the Lord. He meditates on the Lord, and then after that meditation, he then, because he cannot find, where his source, where he came from and all these things, so he gives up in the end and he sits and meditates. And finally, within his heart, he sees Lord Vishnu lying down in the causal ocean with the, in the water, and surrounded on Ananta Sesha and Lakshmi Devi, and he sees himself. And then in his heart, he also sees the elements, the fire, the water, the earth. He sees all these elements. And when he sees all these elements, then he has this desire to create. And that's when he starts creating. And Lord Krishna obviously plays his flute. We mustn't forget the flute. He plays his flute that goes through his ears and right down to his heart, and then he gets the intelligence. And that's when we start coming into being. So you will see later on that, how Lord Brahma creates different different, living entities, different. He creates demons, he creates devatas like demigods, he creates rishis and all sorts of living entities, and he creates the yakshas and demons who wanted to attack him. So he had to run to Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu said, what's the word? You leave, or you have to sacrifice your body. So Lord Brahma, in one sense, he has to sacrifice his body once, because he was being attacked by the demons that he created. So actually they were actually feeling very lusty, and they wanted to have a sex life with Lord Brahma himself. So he had to get rid of that body. So there's very interesting stories that will follow. In any case, we are interested, right? So what's in it for us, right? Why do we want to know? We are one of those jiva souls, and we are here, and we've been here for a very long time. How do we know that? Well, we are not with Krishna. If we, there's so many yugas and all this. If we had done the right things, then obviously we wouldn't be here today. We would be with Krishna. So in this, there's a verse before this, yesterday's verse, where it says that, I'll just read it, as a reminder. Separately unable to produce the material universe, they combined with the help of energy of the Supreme and were able to produce a shining egg. Right? And over 1,000, these are celestial years, over 1,000 years, that egg lay in the waters of the causal ocean in a lifeless state. Then the Lord entered it as Garbhodaksha Vishnu. So we were lying in this egg, inside that egg, for 1,000 celestial years before we were actually being produced. How would you like that? 1,000 celestial years is billions and billions of years. I can't even count. So we can't count a billion right here. Well, can anyone count 1 billion in counting? So imagine living a billion years and more inside an egg before you're produced. So this is the state of the jiva souls, the living entities, us. So there's nobody here who's perfect enough yet to be with Krishna. We are at the moment. So what are we? We are not perfect, but what are we? We are trying to be perfect. That's why we are sitting here and we are struggling, or maybe not struggling, maybe we're having a joyride, but I believe most of us are struggling to become perfect devotees. We are actually in a practice session. Why are we struggling to be devotees? What's the reason? Is that we don't want to be in this egg for 1,000 billion years. What does that really mean? Is that this is Srila Prabhupada's solution, is to actually break the cycle of birth and death. That's the only solution, to not keep coming back again and again, to be annihilated, our bodies to be annihilated, going back into Lord Vishnu, going so many births, millions and millions of births. And, coming back, sometimes as a cow, sometimes as a rat, sometimes as a bird, sometimes as a human being. Believe me, all of us have been animals once. And we have been insects, and we've been trees. That was our bodies before. So, Srila Prabhupada's solution is, this is actually every shlok that we read in the Srimad Bhagavatam or any Vedic scriptures, right? We've been reading for a while. Every shlok, there's a conclusion there. You read the shlok, you read the meaning, and you go, well, what's the meaning of this? Why are we learning about, the shining egg? Why are we learning that Brahma was the first, what's in it for us? What's the solution? What's the conclusion? The conclusion is, you don't want to be produced all the time. You don't want to be manifested all the time. So the solution Srila Prabhupada gave us, become a devotee, practice bhakti yoga. There is no other way. Now, if you want to know the proof, because we have lots of demigods. We pray to Lord Shiva, we pray to Lord Ganesh, we pray to other forms like Jehovah or, Allah. But do they have the ultimate solution? So in the Bhagavad Gita, if you read chapter 7, text 14, purport, in the purport, Lord Shiva mentions, he says the only giver of liberation is Lord Vishnu, nobody else. There is nobody else. So then the question arises, how do we approach Lord Vishnu, who is Lord Krishna, to give us that liberation, to give us the solution, the answer to breaking the cycle of birth, death, old age and disease? And the only way is obviously Bhakti Yoga. Now, what is Bhakti Yoga? Bhakti Yoga is devotional service. Devotional service, we have the 9 processes of Bhakti. I won't go through all the 9. The paramount, the one that we are doing right now, that is one of the processes. What are we doing? We are listening. We're listening, Shravanam. So we hear. Somebody has to tell you, hey, Prabhu, Mataji, hey, stop. Listen, Lord Krishna is there. Ask him to give you, the solution to your problems. You don't want to be born and, die again and again. Hare Krishna movement is one movement that gives you everlasting life. Did you know? So, if you want everlasting life, join the Hare Krishnas. Become an ISKCON member. The reason is that we are told exactly what to do so that you never die again. In this life, obviously, you will die. All of us will die. So that's a really nice note on a Sunday morning. I'm going to tell you, you're going to die. I will die. But then, if you chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Bhakti Yoga, you will never die again. So, how does this work really? Like Rupa Goswami, he said that, you're not going to be liberated or you're not going to reach Lord Krishna like immediately. There's most of the times. Well, it's really not a good note to, it's discouraging to say, well, it's not going to happen overnight. The reason why it's not going to happen overnight is because we've been around for millions and millions of years. We have a lot of bad karma or any kind of karma to work through. And that's why it's taking time. So for those of us who are sitting there thinking, I'm chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, I'm doing all the worship, it's not working. I'm still here. Nothing's happening. Actually, it's taking its time because we've been here millions of years. But there's a very nice thing that Srila Prabhupada said to us. Srila Prabhupada said, you can make it in this lifetime. You can. Of course, you have to be very vigilant. You have to give this life to Lord Krishna. You have to give this life to Lord Krishna. Nobody else, by the way. No one else. Because the other demigods are there, they will facilitate you, but they cannot give you liberation. So, the living entity, what does he do? Okay, so you've decided you don't want to come back. What do? You start chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. What happens there? So all this time you were not chanting Hare Krishna. Say you were not. I know we are all devotees here, we are all chanting Hare Krishna. But there was a time when we weren't. I wasn't. I wasn't born, chanting. So what was happening there with me at that time? Lord Krishna was a neutral person at that time. He is like the Paramatma. He is with us. He was neutral. He wasn't doing anything much. He was just watching us. He was just watching us play here, play there, do this, do that, accumulate this karma, that karma. He wasn't doing much. And he was looking at our desires because he loves us, by the way. He does that because he loves us. You can do whatever you want. I'm giving you free will. Go. Enjoy. But actually, it is not us who is enjoying. He is the enjoyer. He watches us, do whatever. He enjoys our pastimes through us. So we are really like an instrument. We have fun. We have a party. He's the one who's looking at it and enjoying it. It's his leela. It's his show. He owns everything and everyone, including you, me, and your dog. And, he enjoys everything. So at that time, while we are doing these things, we're not chanting Hare Krishna. He's a neutral party. He's watching. But as soon as you have this realization, hey, wait a minute, I'm going to start chanting Hare Krishna because I'm in so much trouble. Those people who are in distress, they come to Krishna. Those people who are curious, they come to Krishna. Who want knowledge, come to Krishna. Who want wealth, come to Krishna. How many of you have ever come to this altar here, I shouldn't say thing, sorry. The altar, and say, Krishna, I want you. Okay, you don't have to put your hand up. But how many of us have ever done that? Krishna, I want you. No, I didn't do that. I'll be really honest, I never said that. I said to Krishna, let me not forget you. Let me always remember you in whatever I'm doing. But I never said I want you. I said to, but other prayers were, okay, I'm having this problem. Can you solve this problem? Okay, I'm having that problem. Can you solve this problem? Someone is, suffering. Can you solve their problem? I've never ever, in our prayers, we never say to Lord Krishna, hey, wait a minute, we want you. Never. So then what is the point in chanting Hare Krishna then? Actually, we chant Hare Krishna, it is a way of saying, Lord Krishna, we want to be of service to you. We want you. As soon as we start chanting Hare Krishna, as soon as we stop in our tracks, as soon as we say, okay, Krishna at that point stops being neutral. He stops letting you enjoy your life, and that's when the hard work begins. Good news. Being a Hare Krishna is hard work. Hare Krishna devotee is hard work. Basically, you're working your way through. You're learning about how to be of service to Lord Krishna. And what happens then is that's when the fun really starts. That's when Krishna stops being neutral. Now, I just wanted to add this little story here about living entities. We have a choice of what we can ask Lord Krishna. Like, for example, in the Mahabharata, when the battle was about to begin, and Duryodhan went to Krishna, obviously, and so did Arjun. They both went to Krishna at the same time while he was sleeping. Krishna gave them both the choice. What do you want? Ask. And that also applies to each one of us here. Krishna is asking you, what do you want? Please ask. So Duryodhan had said, I want your army, I want all your strength, your power, your military strength, all those things. That was Duryodhan. Arjun said, I want you, Lord Krishna. So when Krishna asks you, now you, we are talking about you, what do you want? I want a Ferrari. So then he'll give me a Ferrari. I didn't ask for Krishna. So this is what this entire bhakti yoga, bhakti process is all about, is your desire. Actually, so one of the devotees had asked Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, they said, how can we become devotees? How can we chant? Prabhupada just said only one word. He said, desire. It's what you want. And that really kind of determines your path. And that will stop you if you had chosen, like Arjun, you choose Krishna. Obviously, we know the story of the Mahabharata, right? Who won? Duryodhan didn't win. Arjun won because he asked for Krishna. So if we ask for Krishna, if we go on the altar, I've never really personally, even though I'm taking a class now, I'm supposed to practice what I preach. I'm supposed to go to the altar and say, Krishna, I want you. I don't know if I can do that. But what I can do is I can say, please let me, serve you. Maybe I can give more classes or I can preach. Actually, the best thing to do, the 9 processes of bhakti and everything, it is kind of covered if you're preaching about Lord Krishna, you're spreading the, holy names, you're glorifying Krishna. That's the best one. That is the best one. And that comes through chanting. And the secret of achieving Krishna, by the way, if you want to know how to get Krishna, it's in the books here. You just read the books, you'll get Krishna, which is what we are doing today. We read the books. And the way to read this book, this is supposed to be a secret, by the way. Because it was said, like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, why are you giving all these secrets, It's a secret. You're not supposed to tell, people. The living entities are contaminated, they're polluted, they're not supposed to know. But Lord Chaitanya said, those who are purified in heart, no envy, they are the only ones who will be able to grasp this secret. So you could read the Chaitanya Charimrita without chanting, you won't get the secret. What's the secret? The love of Godhead. You need to love Krishna. Krishna is sold only on love. So you purify yourself with the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you get love, just like Radharani, like gopis. So that is really how you get Krishna. If you want to know, that's the secret I'm sharing with everyone. You read the books, you chant. Purify your heart, you get to love Krishna, you'll get Krishna. Just like Arjun, You obey his instructions. And the best way to do that, obviously, is to go and ask somebody who knows about Krishna, who's already got Krishna. So if you want, I have a bag of rice, will you go to somebody who's got no bag of rice, for rice? No, you'll come to me. I've got the rice. So you will, if you want Krishna, you will go to somebody who already has Krishna. You won't go to somebody who does not have Krishna. So who has Krishna? Someone like Srila Prabhupada has Krishna. Somebody like a bona fide spiritual master. There are many gurus. There are many gurus. But they're not practicing. They're not bona fide. They don't come from the right source. So we need to be able to, like, you've got the Lakshmi Sampradaya, we've got the Rudra, we've got the Kumars, we are the Gaudiya Mat, we are the, from Lord Brahma, we come from there. So it's carried down from Lord Brahma himself, and that's why we've got the book here, the Srimad Bhagavatam, to read. So we go to the right sources, person who can actually give us Krishna. And what we do is, instead of asking, that's why we are all here, instead of like Duryodhana asking for the army, or like me once asking for a Ferrari, you ask for Krishna, you ask for service. And that's why we are here. And the secret is that you chant the holy names, purify your heart, and learn how to love Krishna. Because a lot of devotees, when I used to give classes, the devotees used to come say, Mataji, I don't think I love Krishna. How do I know I love Krishna? I said, well, you made the effort to come to the temple to see him. You only go to see your beloved, right? You don't go to see somebody you hate. And then you go, oh yeah, I do love Krishna. That's why I'm here. So you do love Krishna, by the way. So if anyone, and he loves you. That's why he's got you here. He's made these arrangements. So if something catastrophic is happening in your life, don't get scared. Because that catastrophe is going to make you understand that you've got to go to Krishna and you're going to get him, is what you really want. Just like Dhruva, he was crying because he couldn't sit in his mother's lap. Right? That was a catastrophe for a child. He couldn't, his father's lap, sorry. For a child, you can't sit in your father's lap. That's catastrophe. That's traumatic. So we get traumas in our lives too. All kinds of catastrophes. Don't get scared. There's an ultimate plan behind it. Krishna's in control. He's making you go to him. So Dhruv got his planet, obviously. There's a Dhruv planet that never gets annihilated. That's another reason. Chant Hare Krishna if you want to go on Dhruv's planet. That never gets annihilated. So he got this planet, but he said, I was, looking for pieces of broken glass when I could have asked for the jewel. When he saw Krishna, he forgot about everything else. There was this story about this thief who wanted jewelry. And he was told there's a little blue boy who's really rich in, Gokul Dham. You can go and, steal from him. So this thief went and he saw this little blue boy who was so beautiful, so beautiful. He forgot about the jewelry. So he said, oh, I want this boy. Because innate nature in our hearts, we have love for Krishna. So we should be like that. Shouldn't want anything. So don't worry if something bad's happening in your life. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. Only if you come to Krishna, by the way. So if you decide to go and have a party in the local bar or wherever it is, or go on social media, no. The answer is no. You're not going to be happy. But if you do come to Krishna, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. There'll be a struggle. And obviously, there is a lot of sacrifices a lot of devotees make, pure devotees. If you look at Lord Jesus Christ, he went through so much. Right? He was crucified on the crucifix. But a lot of good came out of it. There's a lot of Christians, good Christians. And, he spread the word of God. So Srila Prabhupada also went through many trials, At that old age, he went through 3 heart attacks and all these things. Devotees are going through all kinds of severe traumas and, all these catastrophes are happening right now. We're having corona, or most of us would have had corona by now. A lot of us. But should never be phased out. Always chant. Always call Krishna. He'll be there to help you. He promised. It's in the Bhagavad Gita, it's in black and white. He said, I'll be there for you, for his devotees. So on that note, I will stop. If there are any comments or questions, yes, Prabhu. Okay. Kshirodaksha Vishnu is Paramatma, is the super soul. It's within our heart. He is within our hearts. He is within every atom. So his function is not to produce Brahma. That's Garbhodaksha Vishnu. So only Garbhodaksha Vishnu, to answer that question, that part of the question, Garbhodaksha Vishnu sprouts from, his lotus that sprouts from his navel. That's where Lord Brahma is born. Now, Garbhodaksha Vishnu manifests or expands himself further into Kshirodaksha Vishnu, who is the super soul, who is in you, who's in me, who's in everyone. Basically, when we look at each other, we should see there's Kshirodaksha Vishnu in each one of us. But that actually takes someone on a very high spiritual platform to view each one of us like that. Now, the other part of your question was, does he have jurisdiction outside? No. So, Lord Brahma has his jurisdiction only as far as Garbhodaksha Vishnu at the edge of the ocean. So, not beyond the ocean. He doesn't go beyond the ocean. When he has to make prayers, he goes at the edge of the causal ocean, and he offers his prayers, and then Garbhodaksha Vishnu grants him or blesses him with darshan and solves his problems, and nothing beyond that. Because Lord Brahma is a Jiva Tattva, is like a Jiva soul like the rest of us. So we do not have jurisdiction outside of the material energy or the material worlds. Now, we are in the material world. So in one sense, this material world is like in a darkness. We need the sun to enlighten or to lighten up. But beyond this material world, there is a spiritual sky. And that is, I think it is in the previous shlokas, those skies, the materials, the spiritual sky, they are not in darkness. They are in full light. Now, what I mean is that Lord Krishna, he has the Brahma Jyoti. His rays of light comes from his body and then illuminates the spiritual sky. Those planets, they don't need the sun. We are the only ones who need the sun, because we are in like it's a material energy, material world in darkness. And Brahma and the rest of us, all the jivas, we are in material world. We don't have jurisdiction outside. Only when we get the liberation, that we achieve our spiritual bodies, then we have jurisdiction outside. So when Lord Brahma transcends his Jiva Tattva and he becomes or adopts his spiritual body, then he will have jurisdiction outside of the material world, going on to the Vaikuntha planets. Now, the Brahma Jyoti that we had read, they are rays of light coming out of Lord Krishna's body, his body. And it is another like a loka where it's just light, Brahma Jyoti. It is not the Vaikuntha planets. And that's the place where, when you say the demons are killed, and when the demons are killed, they merge into Lord Krishna. That's where they go, the Brahma Jyotis. And devotees, they don't want to go there, to where Lord Krishna, because you'll be there in light, you'll be suspended there. What are you going to do there? So devotees kind of aspire to serve Krishna. So does that answer the question? I think I answered. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah, the milk ocean is the Garbhodaksha Vishnu. As far as the Kshirodaksha Vishnu is the Paramatma. Yeah, he is the soul. He's the super soul. And then Karna Daksha Vishnu is the Mahavishnu. So there's Karna, then there's Garbhodaksha, and then there's Kshirodaksha Vishnu. Yes. Yes, that was actually a question I had for my own spiritual master. Omnipotent, that's Lord Krishna. He's everywhere, right? In every atom, in every living entity. And my question was whether the Jiva souls, no, the Jiva souls, we can only, they have certain empowerments. So Brahma can be in 2-3 places at once, because he's empowered. But, smaller souls, like smaller, insignificant jiva souls like us, we won't have it. Yes, Brahma can be everywhere. He can be anywhere. He does. He can be. But within the material, within this world only. So they are empowered in certain ways. Just like in the Chaitanya Leela, Lord Brahma came down. He was a Namacharya Haridas Thakur. So, there are certain manifestations they can take. So they can be in different places. Yep. Any other? Yeah.